Welcome back. So in the first video, we just kind of went through some of the basics of Dragon Quest One. We ended up getting the Copper Sword. That's how we finished it off. We got to see Tanticle Castle and Brecconary Town. Got to meet some of the early game monsters. You know, the different kinds of slime, the Draki, and the Ghost. In this video, I'm actually going to start taking us up to the northwest corner. And on the way there, we're actually going to stop by the tomb of the legendary hero. Um, it's not required, but it adds a little bit to the story. So when you come in here, you know the caves in this game are dark. Go ahead and use a torch, and you know the path to take is just get to the bottom right-hand corner. It's a real short tunnel, and then from down here, we're just going to make our way to the top left corner. And then circle back along the top, and we'll make our way over to the tomb. And go ahead and read the tablet. All right, so now that we've read that, we now know that we need three, sacred items that are guarded by the descendants, or in one case, the sage himself, um, in order to actually form some kind of what will ultimately be a bridge to get over to the Dragonlord's castle. So now we know we need three items, and so that's going to be, the driving force of the storyline. We're going to be going around doing all of these tasks just so that we can get those items, so that we can eventually cross over. And once again, the goal is to get the Sphere of Light from the Dragonlord. From the cave, if you make your way to the northwest, you'll find the second town. This is called Galenholm in the other versions. I think it's Galenholm in this one. Yep, Galenholm. Standard town. You've got your inn, you've got your weapons shop, you got your items shop. If you notice, again, we've got one of these locked doors. That tells you that we're, given the size of that building, we'll come back here later in the game. But in the meantime, go ahead and hit up the weapons shop. And you'll see that there's a slightly expanded menu of items and armor. So, one of the things to be aware of with this game, like every RPG, is there is an economy mechanism built in. So, if you want to spend the gold now, I could level up to the Iron Axe, get +5 attack, but spend 3 times as much on it. Or I could focus on my defense first and get the leather suit or the chainmail, and get some better defense that way. Really, it doesn't matter what order you go. I will say this game does not require always upgrading to the best available weapons and armor at the time that you get to that town. So you don't have to grind all the way up to that Iron Axe, or all the way up to that chainmail, or God forbid that Iron Shield right off the bat. Like I told you before, I am going to get, and as a reminder, I only have the Copper Sword. I'm going to get the Copper Sword, leather armor, leather shield, and I'm going to play with that for most of the early game, save up the gold until later on. That way I'm really not missing out on too much. One change in the item shop, I believe they dropped, oh nope, still just the herb, the torch, and the dragon scale. Eventually we'll be able to buy chimera wings, but not quite yet. So now I'm just going to train up in this area a little bit. Here's the ghost. I'm going to head south and show you, pretty much you're safe in this part of the continent. There is going to be one new monster, the magician, or I think in this version it's the prestidigitator. But as long as you stay north of that little bridge, you should be safe. If you have the copper sword, you should be able to take everyone out. Be cognizant of your NP, and if you need to go back and heal, by all means, go ahead and do that. And there with level 4, we actually got our first attack spell, the Sizz spell. So obviously, it doesn't show it here in the outer world, but when you're in battles themselves, you'll notice here on the screen, it actually delineates battle spells versus field spells. So don't be alarmed if you're not seeing it in your thing. If there's no monster to use it on, why show it? But the Sizz spell is going to come into play and be really useful pretty soon when we start fighting the scorpions. But here's our second generation of Drakius, the Dracolite. One thing to be aware of is he can cast the Sizz spell on you. Sizz spell is just a fireball, but at this point it would do a lot of damage to us. So just be aware of that. If you want to play it safe, you can stay a little further north. This game doesn't always have clean lines of where the available monsters change. So it isn't necessarily going to be that bridge. Clearly, I fought the Dracolite on this side of that bridge. Sometimes it's going to appear fairly random. They just kind of drew a line on the map and said, north of this, it's these 4. South of this, it's these 5. So don't be surprised if in this tile it's one group, this tile it's a different group. But just level up, and I'm going to go ahead and get up to probably level 5 or 6. It's really more dictated by the gold at this point. Again, I want to get that leather, the leather shield and the leather armor. So I'm shooting for, what was that, something like 160, 170 gold. So let me just grind for a bit. All right, so got up to the 160 gold that I'm going to need to get the leather armor and the leather shield. Also got up to level 5, so now max MP is 14, max HP is 33. So I'm actually going to go ahead and make my way back to Tanticle Castle and Breckenary Town. I'm going to heal up while I'm there and go ahead and upgrade our defensive items. And this time I'm actually going to go ahead and just stop off at the inn. So here, it's only 3 gold. Still have 13 to spare. But once I get these items, we'll call it for this video here. All right. So the leather suit is a increase in 4 defense points. Go ahead and equip that. And the leather shield is an additional 4. So we just got +8 off of our, I think we were at 10 to begin with. I'm going to go ahead and sell off the bamboo spear since we no longer have use of it. And so just like that, we nearly doubled our defense after nearly doubling our attack last time. Once again, we're at 33 HP, 14 MP, and we now have 2 spells. Heal and Sizz. So in the next video, I'm actually going to go ahead and take us to the third town. On the way there, we'll start to encounter the next stage of monsters. It'll be Scorpion. We may see a skeleton. Hopefully, we'll finally get to see the magician or Prestidigitator. I think is what he's called in this one. So stay tuned because we're just getting started.